Speaker recognizes the Honorable Jon Switalski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, to Speaker Bolger, Leader Greimel, and to all my colleagues. It's with great appreciation that I stand here to give my farewell today. It's really, truly been an honor to serve with all of you. When I was sworn in January of 2009, I really couldn't appreciate, nor would I have been able to imagine what amazing, inspiring people I've been able to meet along this journey, and what life lessons that I would take away from this. I have learned such a great deal these past 6 years, not just policy or political lessons, but through many interactions on the campaign trail and in this chamber, many lessons that I'll carry with me throughout the rest of my life. And for that, I'm very grateful for this opportunity, the citizens of Warren, Centerline, and formerly Sterling Heights, for electing me to serve their interests here in the House. What I've found to be so unique about this experience is that it's a unique opportunity and a privilege to interact with so many different types of individuals, people who view the world through so many different lenses. And I don't think I'd be able to have that opportunity to meet such a diverse amount of people in any other walk of life or profession. And so I want to just share with you a couple stories of some individuals that I have met along the way. In 2008, in the summer, I was knocking doors in Warren, and I met a very elderly man, a Polish immigrant, who was standing on his front porch and just watering his flowers and taking care of his lawn, as many of us Polish folks like to do. We got to talk about his experience in Poland, and he told me that he was standing in the streets of Warsaw the day the man with the mustache came rolling through town. And I was floored. I was just awestruck that I was standing next to a man who had experienced occupation and that type of oppression. And so we talked about it, half hour at least, and I was just enthralled in his story. A couple years later, I was again knocking doors in Warren, and I met another elderly man who was blind and quite ill. He was in a wheelchair and was just sitting in his garage enjoying the summer sunshine. He also told me about his experience in the war. He was from the Balkans, I believe Serbian, if my memory serves. He lost his entire family, his 3 young children and his wife. And I was, again, just floored by his experience. He came here shortly after the war ended in 1945 and started all over. He had absolutely nothing. And this country gave him that opportunity. So after speaking with him a while, he told me that all he wanted for the future, for other people, what was his experience. For society to continue to offer opportunities for people like him who came here with nothing, and for his government to treat him honestly and fairly. And that has just been seared into my memory. And then my final story is something a bit lighter. As all of you know, March is reading month, and I always enjoy going to classrooms and reading, especially those to kindergarten classrooms. And so in March 2011, I went to one particular classroom, and after reading a book, I assume it was a Dr. Seuss book, and telling these kids very sternly how important it is to read and to go home and read with your parents, because practicing how to read and becoming a good reader is going to be the foundation of your academic success. So I opened it up for questions, and these puzzled 5-year-old were looking at me. A few of them raised their hand, and I called on one little boy who asked me, "Are you famous? Did you come here in a limo?" And of course I said, "Absolutely, I did. I'm super famous." And then another girl, a girl raised her arm and just abruptly said, "Do you know when you're going to die?" And I was stumbling for an answer, not quite sure what to say, but March of 2011, I'm having these flashbacks in my mind of losing 20 seats in the 2010 election and serving in the minority and being banned from speaking on the House floor. And I just said, "Sooner rather than later, of course." And she was horrified. This sweet 5-year-old little girl was horrified at my answer. I drove away from that school feeling horrible. And I realized I'm wound too tight. I'm taking what happens in this chamber way too seriously and way too personally. I need to leave it in Lansing. And so it's funny what you can learn from a simple question from a 5-year-old. So these children's very precious questions and the experience of being in awe of those immigrants are truly experiences that I won't soon forget. So my time here has really also allowed me to make friendships that will last beyond my time here. I've been fortunate to only have 3 individuals work in my office. Ryan Bardoni is an unbelievably hard worker. He is a diligent task manager, someone I owe a great amount of appreciation to. And I probably wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for his political acumen and his shoe leather. Mary Olette, who left my office a couple years ago to work for Senator Stabenow, and now works very proudly at my alma mater, Grand Valley. She is truly the sweetest, most caring person I've met in life, and she poured her heart into our constituent service efforts and definitely left the former 25th district better off than she found it. And then finally, Jenny Geese has worked in my office since day one. I can only say that I wish I'd have many more days to work around her. She's truly been the driving force behind all of our accomplishments while I've been in office. The main policy initiatives were her ideas, and she was, of course, the reason that they were enacted into law. And I owe a lot to her. And I'll miss you a great deal. My parents have also joined us today. Jon and Terry Switalski. Thank you for that. They're the 2 most selfless giving parents and grandparents that I could hope for. They've been involved in every one of my campaigns, provided me support, encouragement, and really a dose of reality when, and I quote my mother, "you get too big for your britches." And then finally, Mr. Speaker, I just must thank one more person, and that's my cousin, former Representative and Senator Mickey Switalski. He taught me a lot. He taught me how to work very hard on the campaign trail. He taught me to be thoughtful as a legislator. I had the pleasure of serving with him my first 2 years here and his last 2 years, and I owe any future accomplishments really to the lessons that he taught me. So many of you may not know, but Mickey is quite the character. He would often read a humorous poem or sing a tongue-in-cheek song about Democrats and Republicans coming to a deal and compromising. And some of you have asked me, are you going to be able to do what Mickey did? Will you sing us a song, or will you write us a poem? And unfortunately, I don't possess his literary talents or his dry sense of humor, but his love of this place and of poetry did wear off on me. So I'd like to leave you all with this from a deco. Farewell is beautiful, a glimpse into the future. Farewell is wonderful, it sets for adventure. Goodbye is sad, a dive into the past. Goodbye is hard, it memories cast. For old faces must go, yet new places to go. A chapter opened and a chapter closed. Oh, farewell, how nice if I could tomorrow tell. Oh, goodbye, in thou, sweet memory, lie. For us you take backward and make to the past hold. Farewell, a forward, a face, the future bold. And today, yes, verily day, with feelings set at bay, those very words I say. Farewell and goodbye and farewell, I say with pleasure and pain, yes, with tears, with grief and joy.